everybody, welcome to Movieverse. My name is Brian. Greg is joining me, and we are finally back for another episode of Movieverse. Movie news. It's been a while, Greg. I thought that being out of school I'd be less busy, and that turned out not to be true. I ended up hurting my back, and I had to go through physical therapy and all that stuff. Anyways, what movies have you seen here recently? Besides, you can go ahead and talk about your Star Wars experience, because I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. So first off, I saw the only really new thing I've seen. The BBC show Sherlock. They had their Christmas special where they aired in theaters. Yeah. So Sherlock and the Abominable Bride, which was actually really good.
So would you say that it was better than the Star Wars Christmas special?
Well, I would need to see the Christmas special, but I would say yes. Just from what I know. Yeah. But it was just strictly the episode of the show, which is an hour and a half to begin with. Mm-hmm. It was an hour and 45 minutes. And then there's also some behind the scenes thing that aired at the end of it as well. Yeah. But that show's great, so you guys should watch that. I know it's a movie, but it's a great show. Benedict Cumberbatch is Sherlock. Yeah.
He's also going to be playing Doctor Strange. That's how we can tie it back to the movies. So there you go.
Martin Freeman is Dr. Watson.
Hey, he's going to be in Civil War, so there you go. Talking about movies.
It's well written, well directed, well acted. That was really entertaining. And then the other thing, I saw Star Wars again. Yeah. In what's called D-Box Theater. So those who don't know, D-Box is a company that created motion cinema chairs. And so they take the time to choreograph the movements of the chairs to the action that's going on the screen. Mm-hmm. So it's a little jarring at first because you're not used to it. At least this is the first time I've gone to one of those. Yeah. But as kind of the movie settled in, it's all felt natural. When the X-Wings are flying by, you're following the chairs, following the path of the fighter's taking. When somebody's firing a gun, chair vibrates. Cool. You would just fired a gun. That's very much a much more immersive experience. Mm-hmm. But it's not for every movie.
Yeah, we were just talking about how my anxiety deals with IMAX. I don't think those chairs would help at all.
It's also, it can't, again, this is the third time I saw Star Wars, so I already knew what was going on. Mm-hmm. But I would imagine a kind of action movie that has any kind of intricate plot might be a little hard to follow because you're just kind of taking in all the action going on.
Well, just wait until they start having virtual reality movies. And then you have you're sitting in the chairs, it's moving, the virtual reality is moving with the camera or whatever. There's a lot of cool things that they could probably do with the future of storytelling in the movies and TV. As far as me, I've seen Star Wars twice, so not quite up to where you are at. But I've also started trying to catch up on movies that were released this year that I didn't have a chance to see in the theaters, like Mission Impossible. I saw that. Rogue Nation, that was really good. I saw The Martian the other night because it just came out on DVD, so I watched that. That was really good. I really enjoyed that movie.
And just real quick, that was my number one movie of last year.
Was it?
Which, if you go to our website, I put up a list of my 10 favorite movies of last year and my 10 most anticipated movies of this year.
Yes, and our website is movieverseonline.com. So Greg has put up a couple articles. A buddy of mine, Shad, he has also put up quite a few articles, and I really enjoy reading his writing. He does a really good job breaking stuff down. So if you guys haven't checked that out, make sure you do. And then also, while we're plugging our stuff, you can also follow us on Facebook.com/MovieverseOnline, Twitter at Movieverse2, and Instagram at MovieverseOnline. We got all the stuff going on here at Movieverse. So even if we're not that active with our videos, because it's been a couple weeks since our Star Wars review and stuff like that, you can always contact us on those social media sites, and I will interact with you guys as much as possible. And to finish up, I've been reading Secret Wars, and they finally released the final issue of the Secret Wars storyline for Marvel, and I really enjoyed the last issue. It kind of took away some of the impact of it because they kept having to delay it, which happens when they're doing single issue stories. Mm-hmm. But overall, I really enjoyed that storyline. I even got my comic book box. I'm putting them in bags and boards and putting them in there. I'm full-fledged comic book nerd now. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into our news topics of the day. First off, today it was just announced that Jessica Jones is getting a season 2. Netflix confirmed it. There is no word on when it will air or what that story will be about. But it is getting a season 2. Also, yesterday it was announced that Punisher will be getting his own Netflix series as well, so that bodes well for Jon Bernthal's portrayal of the Punisher in Daredevil Season 2. Greg, what are your thoughts about Punisher and also Jessica Jones?
The Jessica Jones things isn't surprising at all.
That was a really good show. I really enjoyed it.
I don't think it was as good as Daredevil, but that's me personally. Yeah. But it was still a good show. And from what everybody said from Marvel and Netflix, like, they loved John Pertwell's portrayal of the Punisher in, Daredevil. So, like, when you have people excited about what the character is, and they have the resources that they do, they're gonna do something with that. So
yeah, they said that Jon Bernthal's portrayal of the Punisher is a very memorable portrayal. So a lot of people think of the guy Thomas Jane, who I think played the Punisher back when the movie, and a lot of people look to him as Punisher. But they said that this will be a very memorable performance from Jon Bernthal.
And also, again, no timetable when Punisher series will go.
So, as far as these two series are concerned, I really enjoyed Jessica Jones Season 1. And I can't really compare it to Daredevil because they're both like two different types of shows. Yeah. Like Daredevil is more of an action thriller, right? And Jessica Jones is more like a psychological thriller. So where Daredevil is more punch, kick, Jessica Jones is a little bit more psychological. And I really enjoyed both of them for different reasons. You have the hallway scene in Daredevil Season 1, which was great. And then you have stuff that happened in Jessica Jones with Zebediah Kilgrave, the Purple Man, and all that stuff. So, the one thing it does bring up is, what's happening with Iron Fist. You mentioned off air that, they just got a new showrunner a few weeks ago, or like a couple months ago or something like that.
Like a month ago or so.
Yeah. But, where are they going to put that now? Because we're getting Jessica Jones Season 2, we're getting a Punisher series, we got Luke Cage coming out, we still got the Defenders to worry about. So, like, are they replacing Iron Fist with Punisher?
I feel like Punisher probably won't come out until after Defenders, because, they made it pretty clear that, these 4 characters, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, are the Defenders. Yeah. So it's, so they're going to get those stories out of the way first, and then, even if there is a second season, I can see Jessica Jones Season 2, like, leading into the Defenders or something like that. Yeah. But I think Punisher will be after the Defenders.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see to get more information on that. But I'm really excited to see what they do with the Punisher here. There's like this iconic scene between Daredevil and the Punisher, where basically the Punisher makes Daredevil choose. He either has to kill Frank Castle, right, the Punisher, or he's going to kill some other guy that Daredevil doesn't want to be dead, right? So Daredevil has to make a choice, and he ended up, I'm not going to ruin it, but it was like this great scene where Daredevil was like chained up on a roof, right? And we saw some set pictures earlier with Daredevil chained up on a roof, and the Punisher's right there with them. So I feel like they're going to recreate that iconic scene, and I can't wait to see it. Let's move on to our next topic. So Star Wars, if you guys haven't heard, it's this really small independent film that's breaking every record at the box office. No, it's, everybody knows what Star Wars is, right? But I think nobody could say how many records it was going to beat, right?
Everyone thought it was going to be a big box office movie. I don't think anybody really expected it to be this big.
Because it's in December, right? Yeah. So December movies typically don't make that much money. They make some good money, but they don't make that much money. I'm going to go ahead and quickly run down all these records that Star Wars has broken. So fastest movie to $1 billion globally in 12 days. Biggest Christmas day with 49.3 million. Fastest time to reach 500 million in the U.S., which was 10 days. Largest preview screen, which is 57 million. Largest December and U.S. opening weekend, 247.9 million. Largest Friday and opening day, 119.1 million. only movie to earn more than $100 million in one day. Largest Sunday box office at $60.5 million. Largest Monday box office at $40.1. Largest Tuesday at $37.3. Largest non-opening Wednesday, $38 million. Largest non-opening Friday, $49.3 million. Largest New Year's Day box office, $34.5. Largest New Year's and third week box office, $90 million. Largest global opening, $529 million. Largest opening weekend ever in 20 countries. Largest IMAX opening, $30.1 million in U.S. and $48 million globally. Made $100 million in IMAX in 12 days. Largest box office ever for Disney. Number one box office ever in U.S. with $758.2 million in 20 days. Holy crap! Like how many is that? Like that's like over 20 records that it broke, and by a large margin, most of them.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show the demand that the consumer base has for Star Wars. Now, I don't think it's going to do as well globally as Avatar did, so I don't think it's going to quite reach that number.
Right now, projections are saying it will finish number 2.
Yeah, number 2
behind Avatar, ahead of Titanic.
Yeah, number 2 of all time, which is awesome. And I think that Episode 8 might even have a better chance of reaching Avatar. Well, it could be because people see this movie, right? They're like, oh, it's actually good. All right, let's go. What I mean? So, so it's crazy how many records it's beaten. I don't really know. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah, like that was kind of why I pushed to put this in here, because like this list is taking up like 3/4 of the computer screen right now. That we have the notes on. Like it's just unfathomable that no one ever really thought Avatar would really be touched.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are, like it beat Avatar in the U.S.
Yeah,
and it's going to come.
And it beat
awfully close.
It beat Avatar in the U.S. in like 20 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
whereas like Avatar was in theaters for like 8 weeks. No. Yeah.
Didn't it get re-released too? Or
yeah.
No? Yeah. And that box office number for Avatar is including the re-release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's.
And people are saying that Avatar is going to re-release in the theaters before the sequels come out. So I mean that number is probably going to get added to. But I mean if Star Wars: The Force Awakens could do what Marvel's been doing, right? Where like when you get to like the next big movie, they'll do another marathon where those movies play. So we could see Episode 7 in the theaters again before Episode 8 or before Episode 9, depending if they want to do that marathon type viewing that a lot of people enjoy doing.
But just it owns 5 of the 7 days of the week, like.
Yeah, I don't think there's another movie's going to come out that could beat these records. Not named another Star Wars movie or possibly Avatar sequels. But it's been so long since the Avatar movie came out. I don't know if there's going to be such a reverence.
And also, even like the kind of like the general consensus on Avatar isn't as high anymore as what it was.
I think you'd be surprised, Greg. I think you'd be surprised. You might not have cared for Avatar too much, but there's a lot of people who do.
But it is. And I'm not trying to disparage, but I'm saying like overall, like I feel like it slid back down the mountain a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's still at the top spot ever, box office wise. So, I mean, that's something that Avatar can rest its morals on. Yeah. But Star Wars is coming for it. I'm just saying, like, because I mean, they're going to keep releasing movies, and if every Star Wars is as big of a hit as Episode 7 is, then eventually, I mean, it could happen.
So also, I do before we move on, I do kind of want to suggest one thing, like because Episode 8 is going to move back to a May release.
Yeah.
Do you think that would help it or hurt it?
I would like to say it's not going to make a difference because everybody who's going to see Star Wars is going to see Star Wars multiple times, but you do have to kind of say, hey, movies are going to be coming out in the summer. A lot bigger blockbuster movies are going to be coming out in the summer, whereas in December it was just Star Wars and the Chipmunks. You know what I mean? Yeah. So,
and then just now, The Revenant came out, which it finally knocked it off the number 1 spot.
So it could definitely make a difference in the numbers, but we'll have to wait and see because Star Wars is such a beloved franchise.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Again, like it has no competition here in December, and even through January, it's like it's still going to be the juggernaut movie. Whereas, if it comes out, May 4th, whatever, it's only going to have that spotlight for a week or two, because then the next comic book movie comes out, the next, blockbuster movie comes out.
Yeah. Well, before we move on to our Batman v Superman topics, we have a small topic here, which I think that we can kind of get through pretty quickly. So, apparently there's a petition from Star Wars fans wanting George Lucas to come back to direct episode 9. I thought it was 8. Was it 8 or 9?
It was 9.
It was 9?
To finish off the trilogy.
To finish off the trilogy? Stop it. Stop it. Like, why? Like, people... No. Just, you know what? Let's burn it. Let's burn this petition to the ground. And he's not going to do it. He's like, even if you can do your petition, but George Lucas is going to be like, no, I'll pass. He's not going to do it because of everything that happened with the prequels. You can say what you want about the prequels. He didn't really care for people's perception of the prequels, and I think he got his feelings hurt. But he's also sold the rights to Lucasfilm and to Disney for
I'm pretty sure he's never directed a movie that he hasn't written.
Yeah, and also I don't think he'd direct a movie that is like a sequel to a movie that he didn't do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because they already have like the story going for 7 and 8, and then he's not going to come in for 9 and then try to change a whole bunch of stuff, and Disney's not going to let him change jack anything. So
yeah,
Disney doesn't want him back.
That got exactly the reaction I was hoping for out of you.
Stop it. Yeah, I knew that's what you're going for. So I was just like, stop it. Don't just.
As in, when I first saw the story, I literally just was sitting at my computer laughing out loud. Like,
yeah,
just the preposterity of.
Well, it's just people were like, oh, burn George Lucas at the stake. We're getting J.J. Abrams and everybody's excited. And then after episode 7 comes out, somebody's like, oh, let's start a petition to get. Stop it. Like, episode 7 was a great movie. I don't see how you could dispute that fact. And now you're just wanting to you want your cake and you want to eat it too. I don't get it. But yeah. So pointless petition. Regardless, there is no chance. Even if this petition got 1 million signs, it's not going to happen. Well, maybe if it was 1 million, then maybe. But
1 billion.
1 billion. No. All right. So let's move on from that hypocrisy to some Batman v Superman stuff. So we have some TV spots that have come out. I think there was 4. They're all pretty similar, but there were some slight differences.
I know. I've only seen 2 of them.
You only seen 2? Did you see the one on Conan?
No.
Okay.
I've seen them out in the wild. I didn't see them when they got announced or released.
Well, I mean, yeah. But I mean, did you see the one that they originally played with Conan? It's the one where it starts off with Batman in the Batmobile, and there's smoke and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's So, it basically is showing you from Batman's perspective. He's inside the car. There's a bunch of smoke and all the alarms in the Batmobile going off. And then you can see through the window, you have Superman. He peels off the doors. So you see that from the inside instead of the outside, which you normally see it. And then, Superman says this line, the next time they turn your light on, don't go to it. The bat is dead. Consider this mercy. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's not Superman. I'm just like, that's amazing. We don't have the context in which that situation happened, right? But I can guarantee you, it's Superman's look, I can take care of Gotham by myself. Don't you're done. You're old hat. And I these TV spots that they have been playing are what they should have been doing this whole time, and not that big trailer that they put out with Doomsday in it because they got nervous because the general public was like, why is Batman and Superman fighting? It says Dawn of Justice. They're going to get together. You don't have to show them being buddy. But anyways, what were your thoughts on the TV spots that you've seen?
Like I said, they look great. My thing is I felt like they didn't really show us anything new.
Good.
But this was again, we're going to talk about later with one of the other movies we're talking about. Looking at you, Deadpool. But it's one thing not to reveal anything new, but you're not really showing us anything new.
Well, I mean, they showed that whole line with Superman. That's new. And that gives us a little context as to why Batman's asking, "Tell me, do you bleed?" It's more of I feel like it's kind of condescending on Batman's part. He's because Superman basically is saying you're done. We don't need you anymore. I can take care of whatever it was that you were dealing with. And then Batman's just tell me, do you bleed? Because you will. Basically saying, yeah, you might be strong, but eventually somebody's going to like deal like a killer blow to you, type thing. So to me, that gives us a little bit more context as to why Batman's saying, "Tell me, do you bleed?" instead of Batman just being this weird guy who has a fetish with bleeding.
But see, you just took it into a really weird place. I never like
Batman with the fetish.
I say I from that, even like the original trailer, I always thought that it was a case of, you know, Superman is telling them not to. Like, I got that from the original, like the original trailer when they showed that scene. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's like, you know, it is like Batman feels, you know, threatened by Superman, and that like,
or is it vice versa?
I think it could be, but it's that
because they both have different ways of dealing with the issues, right?
Yes.
So when you know you're two people and you see somebody else who has a different way of dealing with the same issues that you're dealing with, you kind of feel like, oh, am I doing this right? Or, you know,
or it's kind of like, you know, it almost like Superman's basically doing this to kind of, you know, for Batman's safety.
Yeah,
you know, since
trying to keep him alive or
yeah,
whatever.
like,
yeah,
because he's a human being.
Yeah.
Whereas like, so, but it's kind of could almost be like Batman's like, you need my help.
Yeah.
You need me. You need my knowledge of these streets. Like,
yeah, I think that this movie has the potential to touch on a lot of deeper psychological things than just, you know, two guys fighting each other. And I think that these TV spots give us a look into that. And I just feel like the trailer was more for the general movie-going audience that aren't into the scene that we're into, where we pay a lot more attention to this type of stuff. Because like I feel like the general audience who are watching that second trailer that showed Doomsday, they're not thinking about, oh, well, what's the mindset behind these two characters? No, they're looking for for action and stuff like that. It's unfortunate that, and I understand where Warner Brothers was coming from when they released that trailer. It just took away, for me, it took away the tension of Batman v Superman, and these TV spots are starting to like get that tension ramped back up. So I feel like these TV spots are a way to counteract the loss of tension from that trailer.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that.
Yeah. So moving on, next we have so the soundtrack for Batman v Superman, composed by Hans Zimmer, will release March 18th. Has been announced, and they also released a music demo from that from a certain track on that album. And I've looked at the track list. They don't really spoil anything. They're very vague names, I guess you could say. But you know, I just had you listen to the demo track, and there's definitely a hint of music from Man of Steel in that track, but then there's also this other bit of the track that comes in that sounds very reminiscent, like you brought up, of the Tim Burton Batman theme. So I really hope that is the case. I hope that they use some inspiration from Tim Burton's Batman music, and then like kind of put their own twist on it to bring it into this new, more comic book accurate Batman. What were your thoughts on that track? Because you just listened to it before.
Yeah, and like I said, like even like when the percussion first kicked in, like I was like, that sounds like, you know, Tim Burton's Batman. Mm-hmm. And then when I actually got, you know, the track kept going, you heard that Man of Steel, you know, Superman theme.
Yeah.
You know, modified slightly. But then, you know, the percussion kicked back in, and I was like, this would definitely fit in the Tim Burton Batman movies. So, like, judging by, like, also, too, like, where it is in the track listing, you said it was the second track, because I haven't seen the full track listing. Mm-hmm. Like, I could very easily see that as, like, the main theme, like, you know, the credit theme of the movie.
Yeah.
You know, it probably will also get spliced in here and there throughout the movie.
Yeah, I don't think the list of the tracks on the actual soundtrack they might not be where they actually fall in the movie. But I'm excited for this. Like I have the Man of Steel soundtrack like on my phone. and I will listen to that soundtrack over and over and over again. It doesn't get old to me. It's so great, and I'm glad that Hans Zimmer came back to do Batman v Superman.
Hans Zimmer is probably the second, best composer behind John Williams.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah. And that's another thing when we bring up John Williams. A lot of people on their first viewing didn't really care, or they didn't really notice John Williams' music from the Star Wars Force Awakens. I, on the other hand, did. And that night, because basically I saw the movie on Thursday. The music didn't get released until 12 a.m. on Friday. So I stayed up, and then as soon as it became available, I purchased it, downloaded it, started listening to it, and I loved it. The Kylo Ren theme is great. I just had to bring that up because we are talking about two of the greatest composers of our time. And yeah, they're both, it's amazing. I can't wait for March 18th to get here so I can listen to that track. Yet, the new season of Daredevil also premieres on the 18th. So which one am I going to do? Am I going to watch Daredevil while I'm listening to the Batman v Superman track?
Daredevil premieres the 25th, the day it comes to theaters.
No. Batman v Superman's out the 25th. Daredevil premieres the 18th. Check your facts, buddy. I got it. I got you.
I'm going to do that now.
Yeah, you go ahead and check that as I'm moving on to the next bit of news. So we have Doctor Strange official images. These have been released since our last showing, so I wanted to bring that up so we can talk about it. I mean, you want to talk about straight off the page of comic book, he looks just like Doctor Strange from the comics. The red, the cloak of levitation looks amazing. I mean, you see this profile right here. Benedict Cumberbatch looks like Doctor Strange straight out of the comics. He has the Eye of Agamotto on this cover photo for entertainment, and inside the Eye of Agamotto looks to be an Infinity Stone. Right? You see right here that little green oval that looks like an Infinity Stone to me. Kevin Feige has said that the Eye of Agamotto allows Doctor Strange to manipulate probabilities, which he said isn't a fancy way of saying that you can mess with time. And so from there, I extrapolate that it will be the Time Stone that is in the Eye of Agamotto, which is a very interesting way to bring Doctor Strange into the mix as far as the Avengers and Infinity War and all that stuff. So that's really cool. I love this look of Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange with the goatee. What else do we got here? You got the Sanctum Sanctorum here. You got the Cloak of Levitation back there. And a whole bunch of other things that you can't really tell. You see, I'm guessing this is Doctor Strange right here in his astral form. I couldn't tell that was a person until I tilted my head a little bit, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a guy. I think that's Benedict Cumberbatch. And then obviously here with his mangled hands. Super cool. What were your thoughts when you saw these pictures of Doctor Strange?
It was like Benedict Cumberbatch looks like Doctor Strange.
It just.
Between the costume, the makeup, the styling,
the hairstyling,
he looks like it's almost like a Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark level of
adaptation.
This is what I pictured Doctor Strange to look like.
Yeah,
and they nailed it right on the head.
I've been reading the current run of Doctor Strange comics, the all new, all different Marvel. Just started up in the past year. And I've also read Doctor Strange The Oath. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm in the middle of reading it. It's like a 5-part series. And I've really taken a liking to the character from those stories. And yeah, the way that they've drawn Doctor Strange, even in The Oath, which has happened, quite a few years ago, it's like a directly from the page adaptation, and it's really impressive. And I really wanted to talk about that because we hadn't had a show since these pictures came out, and they just look amazing.
As I said, not only does it look like Doctor Strange, they look amazing on their own.
Yeah.
The detail in the garments and in the it was there's such attention to detail that it just makes you buy into it so much more.
Yeah, and you see here with whatever spell that he's casting right here. It looks. They're going full on magic, right?
Yeah.
They're diving into it, and I'm so excited to see Doctor Strange now.
And that's one thing, in the article, Benedict Cumberbatch was he's talking about how like he felt so self-conscious about like all the poses of casting the spells and trying to pronounce them.
Like, which they are going like with, because the spells in the comics are very kind of a little campy, and you know, he does all these poses with his hands and stuff like that, and it's going to be a awesome time. But also they're going with Scott Derrickson, so it's going to have a horror element to it. So there's going to be parts where it's probably some scary elements to it. So I'm excited to see that. And yes, that's awesome. And then we have some details about Mad Mikkelsen and Rachel McAdams, who are also playing characters in Doctor Strange. Their characters' names are not have not been released yet, but we do know that Mads Mikkelsen is playing the big bad villain. We don't know who it is, but the kind of information that they gave us where he is also a sorcerer. It kind of breaks off from the teachings of the Ancient One, because he believes that she is not using the full potential of magic, and it goes from there. And then Rachel McAdams is like a fellow surgeon along with Doctor Strange, and that's really all we know about her character.
Like it's his kind of anchor to humanity after he goes through his transformation. Yeah. So gosh, such good talent. Obviously, from the pictures, we get an idea of like what kind of quality they're putting into this movie. Doctor Strange is a favorite character of Kevin Feige, so you knew that he was going to put a lot of effort into it. So I'm super excited for what they're going to be doing with Doctor Strange. You have anything else to add? It's strangely enough, it's probably the Marvel movie I'm more excited about this year. Over Civil War.
Man, Civil War's gonna be good though.
I guess, but I feel like there's so much unknown about Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
That's why I'm more excited about it.
Doctor Strange is gonna be a very different movie, and that's what's exciting about it. All right, and our last news topic before we get into our quick hits, I want to talk for a couple minutes just about the Deadpool marketing that they've been doing, right? But before we do that, I just want to put out that Deadpool has an official rating. Even though everybody knew it was going to be rated R, it's now officially rated R.
You've already put out 3 Redbound trailers. Yeah. You know it's going to be rated R.
But it's officially rated R, and it is for graphic violence, language, strong sexual content, and graphic nudity. So I just feel like Deadpool's going to be like throwing around a helicopter at some point in the movie. I'm calling that right now. Because when you talk about graphic nudity, bare breast does not get graphic nudity. It gets nudity, right?
Yeah.
So graphic nudity has to go beyond just somebody being topless, right?
Yeah.
We see there's like a scene where Deadpool's walking through a
strip club.
A strip club, right? So you you're gonna get the topless scene there probably, but graphic nudity implies something more than that. So I'm curious. I actually am kind of curious as to like how that works into the movie. Why is it necessary to the movie, or is it just is it for? So I'm thinking it would probably be for a laugh, and I think it'd be hilarious if Deadpool just whips his junk out and starts flailing it around. I think that'd be hilarious.
You're right. It's not necessary, but it's necessary for Deadpool. Like, the kind of the reputation that he has as a character.
Yeah.
That's par for the course.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting and worth a mention. But let's talk about Deadpool's actual marketing campaign right now, because here recently they obviously we've seen the trailers, right? The trailers have been a lot of fun, very funny. Also, there's a lot of action in there. You see ties with the X-Men universe, but yet Deadpool is a rated R movie. It does have a very specific type of comedy to it. And here recently, they put out billboards that make Deadpool look like a Nicholas Sparks movie.
Oh, yeah.
And it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like Deadpool, Love Never Dies. And it's basically Wade Wilson and his girlfriend, but it's like transformation. Wade Wilson is like when he actually still has a face and hair.
When he looks like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, when he looks like Ryan Reynolds. And like they're both like smiling and like, so and it's like some like bubbles or whatever. It looks like a Nicholas Sparks billboard. For like and it's like coming this Valentine's Day, right? So like those billboards are like selling it as a romantic comedy or a romantic movie or whatever, and it's so brilliant. It's so like dead on to what like Deadpool's comedy is. Like, so like people who don't know what Deadpool is, you know, if people are just like outside of like, you know, the whole Marvel like, you know, like IPs and all that stuff, right? And they just drive by and they see this billboard of what looks like.
I feel sorry for those people.
I just it cracks me up. I can't get enough of it, you know. And so you have that. You know, every trailer has been a success. You have the posters that have Deadpool putting his gun basically where his junk should be. It's just like, I actually have not seen a better marketing plan for a movie than Deadpool. Like, no movie have I seen the marketing plan hit the character so well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's happened when everybody involved doing it loved that character and wanted this project to succeed. Like, you know, it wasn't because people reacted to that test footage. Like, it was that test footage made because like Ryan Reynolds wanted it done. Like it was such an organic, you know, kind of coming together.
You know, and they released that that test footage got leaked, right?
Yeah.
So who's to say Deadpool himself didn't leak the test footage? You know what I mean? Because that would be awesome. Like, when you talk about like their marketing campaign, it started with that interview. I forget what the dude's name is, who's on Saved by the Bell. But he interviewed Ryan Reynolds for like some news outlet, and they were like Ryan Reynolds was on location. He was like at the studio, right? And they're talking or whatever. And then Deadpool comes up behind the guy and like smashes the TV over his head, right? Ever since then, like it's just been great marketing. But who's to say, like in the movie, Deadpool's like, yeah, you know, I leaked the test footage because I wanted to see you guys or something, you know, because Deadpool breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah,
he knows he's in a comic book. He knows he's in a movie. So I think that'd be hilarious if they brought out like that kind of thing. It's like, yeah, I leaked that test footage just so I could get this movie made. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it'd be hilarious. But yeah, I mean,
the one thing I have to be negative about like is the trailers, because like all of those trailers felt exactly the same to me. Like, you know, again, like every trailer had that car, like that, basically that test footage scene where like they feel like it's like, or then it was like, you know, it's that extended interaction with T.J. Miller, like when he's commenting on how disgusting his face was. Like I get
the only thing I can say about that, about, you know, when it's T.J. Miller and Ryan Reynolds talking about how disgusting his face looks, I feel like when they filmed that scene, there were so many different iterations of like, because they were talking about how like it was so hard to get T.J. Miller and Ryan Reynolds to actually like
follow the script,
stay on target and like, you know, get stuff done. So I feel like there's probably like hundreds and hundreds of those like quips that they had, and so I feel like they're probably showing some of those quips might not even be in the movie. They might use completely different ones.
Yeah, I mean, again, like even like the green band and the red band had different insults in them. Yeah, like, so it's like, again, like, yeah, I know like his girlfriend gets kidnapped and that, but it's like I want to know kind of like what is going on. Like,
well, I mean, but then you have movies like, you know, the Avengers movies that show way too much. You have people saying that the Batman v Superman trailer showed too much. So I don't think movie studios can really win. I would rather them not show us enough and the movie be great than show us everything that the movie had to offer and then go in there and not be surprised.
3 different trailers that show the same thing. Like,
I don't have a problem with it. I'm enjoying you look like the inside of other people's assholes. Like that. I love the marketing, and I think they've done a really good job. Let's go ahead and move on to our quick hits. And I mean, we go from laughing about Deadpool to a more somber note. Alan Rickman has passed away at the age of 69. Also, David Bowie passed away in the same week as well at age 69, both from cancer. But Alan Rickman hit me extra hard because I grew up on the Harry Potter books. I watched all the Harry Potter movies, and Alan Rickman played Severus Snape in those movies, and you know, he's had a lot of other roles that a lot of people remember him from. Hans Gruber and Die Hard. He was in what's that movie that's kind of like a spoof off Star Trek, Galaxy Quest, and I had actually just watched that movie the day before I heard about this news, and it's very sad. And I just wanted to bring it up so we can kind of, pay our respects to Alan Rickman in that way. So what was one of your favorite movies that he was in?
So that's the thing. Like, I really can't recall like Alan Rickman. Like I was not a big fan of Harry Potter movies. No. Like, I've seen Galaxy Quest and Die Hard. Like, so it is a sad thing that he passed away. I mean, he was well-regarded actor, a good actor. As this, I never really had a connection with him or any of the roles he played. Yeah. So I mean, it's hard to me to kind of sit back. Yeah, this movie was like real influential or like, but as terrible as passed, and you kind of industry has lost a talent.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, just wanted to pay our respects to Alan Rickman, and it is very sad. And so like he has this line in the Harry Potter movies where they ask him, after all this time, and he just says always, and it's just, that's how I feel about Alan Rickman. Like I'm gonna, when I get some time, I'm gonna go back and watch my Harry Potter movies and just pay respect to him in that way as well. So let's move on. Assassin's Creed has wrapped filming. They posted a picture of the cast in front of a green screen. Nothing too special, but it just confirms that Assassin's Creed is on the way. It's in post-production. And there's rumors that we will get a trailer for Assassin's Creed on March 25th with the Batman v Superman movie. So I hope that's true. I really want to see what they've done with Assassin's Creed. I'm so excited for this movie.
Yes, I was really excited for it when they first announced it. Like, this was probably the best chance for them to do like a
successful
video game. Like, so it's like then plus Michael Fassbender is producing and starring in it. Like, it just seemed like things were lining up. The one kind of scary thing, like, you didn't hear anything really. Like, you had a couple set photos, but like, you haven't really heard anything about it. Like, which makes me think that one, it's primarily shot like in a studio on green screen. Yes, there was some location stuff in Spain and
there's one other place.
Another like similar looking place, and like so. But that's the one kind of hesitation I have now is that again, I'm sure not a lot of Spain looks like it did 400 years ago. Yeah, but so again, that kind of dictates using green screen, but so it's like, but that's just the only kind of caveat I have. Like,
well, I mean, and to kind of counteract that, I would say that Captain America: Civil War hasn't had many set photos either. I mean, we saw the one scene where they're in like a marketplace to what looks like to be Wakanda or something like that. But other than that, we didn't really see any set photos. And I know that they did a lot of, they've also did a lot of in studio stuff. So in studio doesn't always mean green screen though.
True.
So because there was that one set that they had built of Abstergo Industries. So I know there's probably a lot of scenes where he's talking to Abstergo, and then whatever happens with that. So I'm still really excited for that movie.
I am as well. I was just like, that's kind of like, I'm just worried how much green screen there will be. Like,
hopefully not too much. Everybody gets afraid of green screen after the prequels. Anyways. Legendary Pictures has been bought for $3.5 billion by a Chinese company, and supposedly Pacific Rim 2 is happening. So I think that China was a big market for that movie, for Pacific Rim. So Legendary was a distributor of that movie, so it makes sense for China to buy this. China is a huge market for movies.
It's the second biggest in the world.
So it makes sense. It could become the biggest, So this makes sense for this to happen now.
And there hasn't really been any idea of how things were going to change at Legendary. How much will be, how much that allows American movies to go to China, and how much they'll let Chinese movies come to the United States.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's bought by a Chinese company, but I don't know if that means that it's going to be based in China. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but again, having that chain of distribution,
it'll be interesting to see how that works. But I think it makes sense for Wanda to purchase Legendary Pictures with that kind of IP at their disposal. Next, Ryan Coogler is officially been announced to direct Black Panther. He had been rumored for a while. He directed Fruitvale Station and Creed. Creed has had a lot of people that have said that they liked it,
and also a lot of award buzz, even though it got snubbed in some categories. But
I'm not going to use that hashtag, but yes, Sylvester Stallone did get nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and he got it. He actually won the award for Best Supporting Actor at the Golden Globes, correct?
Yeah.
So Ryan Coogler is a hot commodity right now, and Marvel has snatched him up to direct Black Panther. So, they keep adding talent, not only as actors,
in front of
but
and
also
behind the camera.
Yeah, so that's always great. So I can't wait to see what Black Panther brings to us. And then Christopher Nolan's next movie has been announced to be Dunkirk. It's a World War II film starring Tom Hardy and Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. I like both those actors. Christopher Nolan obviously does a really good job with movies. After Interstellar, it makes sense for him to come back down here to Earth.
It's also a story based on a true story.
Yeah.
So you kind of saw like the war aspect in Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. To see him do like a legitimate war movie.
That'd be very interesting. Yeah.
Be something special.
Yep. So that's it for the news for this Movieverse movie news segment. We don't have any questions because nobody's been sending us questions. So guys, get on that. Make sure you're sending us questions at movieverseonline@gmail.com so we can further discussion on the show with you guys. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at Movieverse2, and you can tweet me some questions and I can answer you that way. We can always talk back and forth. Always fun to do that. We have a Facebook page, facebook.com/MovieverseOnline, Instagram at MovieverseOnline, and also go to MovieverseOnline.com to read some of the articles that Greg has written, and also our cohort Shad has also wrote a couple things around Star Wars. He did a review, and he really broke it down, which I love to read. So you guys should go check that out as well. So that, we have plenty of stuff for you guys to go and look at before our next show. But until next time, guys, I will catch you guys later. Bye. See you.